Hey y'all, it's David Ducker coming back at you, and today I'm going to do a pre-game video for Siege of Waldenhof one-shot. Will Van Dyke had requested I go through my prep process for this one-shot pre-game. So I'm going to do so, and then I'll do a post-game, and I'll probably then, and only then, do a video about one-shots. So this is going to be a one-shot. So my prep was, I went through and I grabbed first of all the story. Now this is off to the side of our main campaign. So there's a city under siege by undead. Our heroes are going to rescue them, but that's the main campaign. For this one-shot, we're going to zoom in on that city. And our main characters in the main campaign, they have no way of knowing what's going on over here. So we're going to give the players a chance to see what's going on. So I've assigned NPCs to them. They said you can pick anybody from the House of Kampf, which is the House of Waldenhof, the Lords of Waldenhof. Actually, I believe they're barons, or a baronial house. And they have made their decisions. Josh wants to play Manuel Kampf, the Pegasus Knight of the Order of Bellerophon. Charles wants to play Nico Kampf, the Priest of More, the Priest of Death. And Scotty wants to come in and play Hartmut Kampf, who in a previous one-shot, when he was an NPC, was kidnapped by the vampires, rescued by the player characters, but he has become lich-touched. When he dies, he will rise again as the undead. He will become the thing he hates the most. So Scotty really wanted to get in and play that character. So the first thing I did, though, was look at the map and where Waldenhof is, what's the lay of the land there, and I drew the map. So it's actually the apex of two rivers. There's the River Draken and the River Ster coming together, and actually the Draken's kind of joining the Ster at this fork. But basically we've got this triangled land. I said, well, let's have a high cliff at the top with the castle, and then it'll come down, we'll have some docks and a wall right across cutting off this kind of peninsular area. And we'll have a gate in the middle and some towers. Pretty basic. And I went through and said, here's where the slums are. Here's the noble district, the temple. Here's the merchant district. Here's the main roads. Like I said, the towers along the wall. So pretty basic. And I went through and I said, well, who's defending this place? So we've got 4 units. We've got the local cavalry, the local infantry, and we've got a local, which I think we were giving them maybe 2 of infantry. And we also have a unit of the Black Guards of More, the Crusaders. So we've got about 400 men defending this city. And I went through and said, the NPCs, the vampire counts, what would they send? What do they have the capability to send? What would they think to send? What's going to happen there? So, of course, they actually do have a massive force. It's like 10 to 1. So I'm like, okay, we'll do 40 units. So I divided them up. We've got, again, some zombie infantry, skeletal archers, dread knights, who are zombie cavalry, or perhaps vampiric cavalry would be a better word. I said let's get some ghouls in there as well, and then we have the bone dragon as well. I believe his name is Zarbat the Bone, the Dracolich. So once I had the 5 unit types, I said, well, we want to get 40 units out of that, so it's kind of like 10 of pretty much 10 of each. Pretty close to that, at least. Then I just divided it up. What's the first wave going to be? We got, because it's just a triangle that they're attacking, it's pretty easy. So I said, let's have a van and 2 wings, or the middle and then 2 wings, the 2 flanks. So I said, well, the first wave, zombie, 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 come in. Second wave, we're going to get skeletal infantry on the 2 flanks with skeletal archers behind them. And the infantry will have tower shields to protect those archers. And then the third wave, we're going to have ghouls. They're going to come up the cliffs from the river, these soggy, wet, stinking ghouls coming out of the river over the cliff to attack the women and children. And we're going to have a unit of ghouls right down the middle between those infantry lines. Then third wave, we're going to do cavalry, and we're going to do the 2 flanks again. And then so what is that, 4th? So then the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, exact duplicate, same exact wave pattern. So that's going to come through again though. And then at the very end, I'm going to have Zarbath the bone dragon, come in, straight through the middle, straight up the van. So of course, the PCs are going to lose. I can't possibly see them winning. But that's the story that we're going to try to tell. We're going to find that story. The odds are impossibly against them. How do they handle that? Who manages to survive to get back to the main campaign? Who do they manage to kill that's removed from the main campaign on the enemy side? Because we've got the vampire counts there. We've got the leaders of the undead horde. So that's my first step, do all this tactical planning. My second step was look at the characters they've selected. I went through, got my Song of Ice and Fire core rulebook right there. So I made them each up as I would a player character if I were playing them. So, actually, I'll just look at them because I've got them right here. So we went through Heartmut. We just went down the line of skills. First you have to select his age category. It's very important for how much experience he has in his life. Is how old is the man. And then we just went down the line. He's been lich touched, so we dropped out his animal handling, his persuasion, and his deception. Nobody trusts him. Nobody wants to get to know him, and animals don't like him either. And then for above average, we gave him some extra fighting, some knowledge because he's been studying the undead. Language, again, that's studying. And some warfare so he can lead some troops. And he'll be leading the infantry, or one unit of infantry at least. So that's what we did for skills. I gave him the fast quality because he can't ride a horse because animals hate him. So he moves fast, so he runs. I gave him charismatic, which kind of negates some of those lich touch penalties, and knowledge focus of the undead because that's what he's been studying specifically. Give them some mail, sword and shield. Pretty standard layout. So that's what Scotty's going to be handling. And then we went through to Josh, who's Manuel Kampf, the Knight of Bellerophon, the Pegasus Knight. So, of course, we boosted up his agility, his awareness, animal handling. We've also got some marksmanship. So those are all above average for him. He's in the adult age category. He's 18 years old. So he gets a lot more XP to spend. And we dropped down his deception and stealth because he's a knight who his conscience would bug him if he were trying to attempt to lie, to steal, to cheat. So we gave him penalties to reflect that. Actually, he's got some minor boosts as well in athletics, endurance, fighting, and warfare and will. So he's got a lot of minor little boosts as well along the way. again, reflecting his knightly origins. Give him that animal cohort, his Pegasus, deadly shot, because he is a flying horse archer, basically. And we gave him just a little Gambazon for armor and a recurve bow. Because again, Pegasus can't bear a lot of weight, and he hopes not to be targeted anyway because he's flying. Then we went through Nico Kampf, Charles' character, the Priest of Moor. We bumped up his awareness, his fighting, knowledge, language, persuasion, and willpower. We didn't actually drop anything down for him, and we gave minor boosts to his endurance, and of course he also has magic, which none of the other characters would. So he has full access to all the spells of Moor, miracles that the god of death would grant his followers, and a lot of those are useful in combating the undead. Moor hates the undead. He likes natural death, not unnatural necromancy. Nico, his age category is middle age, he's 47. We gave him the qualities of pious, tough, and favored of the small folk. The little people love this man. And we gave him a breastplate and a great flail. And that's kind of inspired by his character portrait. Of course, if you go to God of Damarung on Facebook, all their portraits are there, all the maps are there. But his portrait, he's got this two-handed flail with three iron skulls on chains, which he uses to bludgeon people. And for this, we're going to give him a breastplate shaped like a rib cage. So we're really going to, get him being an intimidating figure. Perhaps a helm like a skull as well would be good for him. And he's also, in his background, sworn off shoes and cutting any of his body hair at all. Because he's a priest, he's a friar, he wants to be holy. So he's taken these vows as well. So it'll be interesting to see if going barefoot affects him in combat. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But after I had the statistics and I went down the line and built them mechanically, now I'm in the phase of thinking about their role-playing possibilities. It's like now that they're a little more well-rounded, a little more fleshed out, I can look at other members of the house and say, how are they going to interact with these characters? Hartmut and Manuel are brothers. Nico is their uncle. So, they're all in the same family, the House of Kampf. Their motto, of course, life is a storm. So I thought about, their wives, their cousins, their fathers, their sisters, their brothers. And then went through and said, who would be the most interesting to role play with? And definitely there's Ramona Kampf, who's a Shalian priestess. In the last time we saw House Kampf, she had stolen a copy of the 9 Scrolls of Nagash, basically the Warhammer version of the Necronomicon, this book of undead lore. So she'll be very interesting to roleplay with. The Patriarch will be very interesting to roleplay with. Anatole is his name. So he's Charles's brother in this one shot, and he's the uncle to Josh and Scotty's characters. So he's responsible for saving everyone. And of course, Josh and Scotty, their characters have wives. And I believe, both their wives are non-combatant. So it'll be interesting to see, is Scotty going to protect his wife? He probably will. Will Josh protect his wife? Will Josh, again, playing Hartmut Kampf, that lich-touched aspect, he's probably more out for revenge. So that, could generate role-playing. Having them disagree over tactics could be interesting. And then Charles, with the Priest of Death, just wants to destroy the undead. So again, slightly different motivation from Hartmut, and we'll see how that plays out. But that's basically been my prep, to make the characters, to make the map, the enemy battle plan, potential role-playing scenes, and I've thought of the opening scene as well, where we're going to have the undead advance and just surround the city and just stand there and not move and just wait outside of bowshot for a week, and in the snow, in the rain, in the sunshine even, they're just standing there glaring at the city, moaning, this wall of zombies. And then finally they're going to start to advance, and that's going to be where we really pick up. So the infantry is going to come out, the cavalry is going to come out, and we're going to get this first wave. So before they do start marching, we'll get the opportunity for role play within the house. They've been under siege for a week. These undead are unnerving. They don't seem to mind the sunlight, but they haven't attacked yet. Some NPCs, anybody wise, will realize they're trying to demoralize the city. When they finally do attack, we're going to get these action scenes. We'll see how they play out, how Charles can use his magic. If Scotty, on his Pegasus, flies in solo, or if he leads his troops in a cavalry charge. That'll be interesting to see, because it's probably smarter to lead his troops in terms of the siege, but for his survival it's probably smarter not to and just fly over the battle where he's safer. And of course we could get some role playing with the undead generals as well. Have potential to send like a bat swarm after Scotty and his Pegasus, or even to have a rat swarm attack the women and children inside. I think of H.P. Lovecraft's The Rats in the Walls, and this sea of furry little mouths chewing everything up in their path. But that's basically been my prep. So we're going to start with the role playing, the inciting incident, the advance, action scenes. That'll be the majority. And once they start to lose, we're going to see what they do. We're going to have the women and children trying to escape, probably on a ship, with ghouls, crawling their way up the sides, these stinking underwater ghouls with just the putrefying flesh and the trench foot over their whole bodies. So we'll see who manages to escape. That's going to be the real test. When will they realize that they're doomed? What will they do about it? Who will survive? Will they try to inflict as many casualties as possible on the vampires? Or will they try to save as many of their own people as possible? So that's basically been my prep for the one-shot. I'm going to do a post-session video as well describing how it exactly went. So, again, this was requested. I don't usually go into such statistical detail, but it was a requested video, so I hope it was able to be informative. And look for part 2 coming very, very soon. Cheers.